Hello there. Angie Cornwell here. I'm the registered dietitian here at the Oxford County Community Health Center, and Janet from Beginnings asked me to come back and do another video, and I'm actually quite excited that I'm getting a repeat call back. It's really fun. So there are four specific fruits and vegetables that Jenna asked the group what they wanted to talk about. So I'm happy to do that. I'm going to start my timer right now so I don't go too far over the 10 or 15-minute mark. I'm going to tilt my computer a little bit, and I hope that that works out. I'll watch the playback, and if it doesn't, we'll just have to do something else. But I will say that the four things that you guys have asked that I talk about are blueberries, strawberries, bananas, and spaghetti squash. What a fun variety. And I will, so my kitchen here at the health center has been closed for 7 months and expects to be closed for us. Now it's like a storage area. So I can't access all the stuff I need to access. So I'm going to try really hard with not all the tools I'm used to. But this should be okay because I did prepare. So in terms of strawberries and blueberries, whether you've got fresh, local, frozen, strawberries from California, doesn't matter. You can do all of these things with them. I feel like I can kind of group strawberries and blueberries because there's not a lot you can do with one and not the other. Obviously, eating them fresh, or if they're starting to go, I wouldn't say bad, but they're getting a little soft. They've only got a day left. You're not sure you're going to eat them all. You can actually freeze them yourself. I recommend either a cookie sheet or this is like a lasagna pan, and spread them out so there's one layer and they're not necessarily touching. They don't want to be friends, and put them in the freezer. And then once they're frozen, then put them in the bag so that they're individually frozen rather than not frozen in this big, huge lump. It does make it so they're a little less mushy. I would say if I'm going to do that, I'm going to use those for baking or a sauce or something like that. So I can make a sauce. Generally, if I'm making a fruit sauce, I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in there. If I put a little bit of vanilla, especially in the strawberries, I don't have to add so much sugar because I get a little bit more flavor. Boil that up. After you've chopped up your strawberries, put a little bit of water in there, a little bit of sugar. It doesn't have to be measured. Kind of taste it and see. Boil it. It will thicken because it does have its own pectin in, but if you need to thicken it further, you want to make a mix of cornstarch and water and mix that here and then add it to your boiling fruit sauce. And then that'll thicken very, very quickly if it's currently boiling. And you can freeze that sauce, you can can that sauce if you have that skill and all the tools. Excellent stuff. I also, you can put them in smoothies or bread or muffins. All that stuff's pretty standard. The only things that I'm thinking that might be weird, some, especially little people, really like frozen fruit. So tossing it right on their tray, frozen, and they kind of nibble on that. They like frozen peas as well. Tossing it into a smoothie or some other kind of drink. And then if it's still fresh, it does sound weird. I guess not anymore. I remember the first time I put fruit on my salad and saw the recipe and I thought, what are you doing? You can't put oranges on spinach. That's so bizarre. Now we all understand that that is a little bit weird, but it tastes really good. And if you're not sure, starting with strawberries on a salad, if that's the only weird thing, really sweet and tasty. And then if you want to get really fancy and make it like a $15.95 salad from a restaurant, I put fruit, I put nuts or seeds, I put some cheese, maybe something crunchy like those chow mein noodles or some croutons or something. Makes it very interesting, not just leafy greens. Those are the things that I'm thinking of when I think of strawberries and blueberries. Now, moving on to bananas. Similar, a lot of people will freeze those for smoothies or for banana bread, especially when they kind of turn the darkest color that the person in your household won't eat them. Right, so I've got a sequence at my house. My one son really prefers them quite green if he's on a banana kick. My husband doesn't get bananas because he eats them before they're ripe enough for my husband to eat. My husband will eat them up until they've got like lots of brown spots. He does like them quite ripe, and then they kind of start turning black. That's when they go in my freezer. There's lots of ways to do that. I don't want to say advanced. The one way that takes the most effort is peeling them, putting them in a Ziploc bag, and putting them in the freezer. That doesn't seem like a lot of effort. I'm particularly lazy. I just throw them in, peel and all. I just don't even care. They turn black. They don't look pretty, but they've got their own protective layer on them with their peel. And then when I'm going to bake with them, I pull them out, I put them in a dish, probably something like this, and either put in the fridge overnight or have it out on the counter for no more than an hour or two, or I'll microwave it if I need to. And then you can just kind of snip off the end of the banana and squeeze it out like weird banana toothpaste, and then mash it up. Very easy, and then toss it into muffins or banana bread or something like that. I will say most people do like a frozen banana in their smoothies simply because of the texture that it offers when it's still frozen. You put in your blender, you get kind of like a Slurpee type crystallized texture and very smooth and thick like a milkshake. That's usually why people like to put bananas in there. Now, switching gears again, I'm doing really good. It's only been 5 minutes. So spaghetti squash. If you don't know what spaghetti squash looks like, all the squashes at the grocery store look kind of the same. They're all kind of yellow or orange or green. Most of them will have a nice little sticker that lets you know. Spaghetti squash is always yellow and in this oval egg kind of shape. So I bought 2 of them, one to show you the pre and one to show you the post. They cost me about $5. They're pretty big. That'll get you a lot of spaghetti squash for sure. You must cook this. Eating this raw is unpleasant. But you don't have to do anything special to it. So what I did, I took the sticker off, and I learned this the hard way. If you leave the sticker on and roast this in the oven, sticker burns and smokes and sets off the fire alarm. So take the sticker off, give it a little wash, and then I poke it like quite literally all over, quite, I don't want to say violently, but quite dramatically, so that the steam can escape. And then I put it in the oven, very hot, 400 degrees. It took about an hour for this type size. And after an hour, it came out looking like this. It's dripping. It's still quite hot, so I'm going to put that down. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to cut it open and show you how it's already spaghetti strands in there. I don't have to do anything special to it to make it spaghetti squash. The way that it grows makes it the texture that it is. So I'm going to tilt this down. I'm hopeful that this works. Please bear with me. I tried to test it out. So I tried to turn it a couple of times. So I've got a dark spot and then the big dark spot. Okay, that's the skin. And I'm going to cut that right in half. Oh yeah, that's nice and cooked on the inside. Can you see that all right? Oh yeah, okay. You can see all the steam coming out because it's cooked. So you can see there's already those little spaghetti strands in there. So what you want to do is you want to take a spoon and you want to scoop out the seed part, the middle section. That's not a good part to eat. You cannot, these have been cooked now, these seeds, so they probably won't grow. But if you cut it first and then take the seeds out and then bake it, it takes much less time. You can save the seeds to grow others. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a regular old fork and I'm just going to get that squash out. So I'm not pushing very hard. I don't need to push very hard at all. I'm just scraping it out. I'm going to grab a plate. So you can see how much squash I'm going to get from this. So this one was the smaller of the two. And I'm going to probably get 4 or 5 cups worth of spaghetti squash out of it. So even though, yes, it's $2, you're getting quite a lot of food from it. So I'm just going to tilt this back up a little bit further so you can see that's half of my squash. And if you want a fork, use the fork a little bit to separate all those strands. Those strands are how the spaghetti squash grows. I didn't do anything special to it. I really just roasted it whole because, as you know, I'm a little bit lazy. So I will tell you, this still tastes like squash, okay? You're not fooling anybody telling them that this is spaghetti. It is squash, it tastes like squash. you mix it in with spaghetti, it can be tasty. Like, it's not a bad taste. It's just not, you're not fooling anyone. So I could absolutely just eat this like this. I could put butter and cheese on it. Very tasty. One of my favorite things to do is I'll actually put spaghetti sauce and Parmesan cheese on this. Still, I'm not pretending it's spaghetti because everybody knows it isn't, but I find squash just a little bit boring, right? We just mush it up, and most of us will put, what, a little bit of brown sugar or something in it, and then that's the squash. I find that dull and boring, and I don't want to do that. So something more savory, so I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic, a little bit of spaghetti sauce, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, makes it more interesting and something just a little bit different. I can also take this, because I think, oh my gosh, that's so much, I can't possibly eat all that, or we won't use all that tonight. You can absolutely freeze that as well and use it later. You can also chop that up and use it as though it were like shredded zucchini in a zucchini bread, only it's a spaghetti squash bread. As long as it's nice and soft, you can absolutely do that. That was fast and furious. I've never taken only 11 minutes to do a talk like that. I'm so happy that you guys were interested in these topics. I hope that that covered what you were looking for. Again, I will tell you the spaghetti squash was, was about this big, so 2 full hands worth of spaghetti squash. The one probably cost between $2 and $3. Took an hour to cook after I poked it and put it in the oven whole. For about an hour at 400. I cook everything really hot. So at 400, I could absolutely poke this and put it in my crock pot for the day and it would cook. I can microwave it. I can cut it while it's raw and it'll take less time. I'm just a really big fan of walking away and letting things do something with the least amount of effort. And then I come back and I can just take my half of squash, scoop out the guts and make it into spaghetti squash afterwards. I hope you guys are having a really nice day, and I look forward to chatting with you anytime. If you have anything else that you're looking for, any other foods or tips or meal planning, anything like that, please don't hesitate. Let Janet know, hey, I'm wondering about this. You can either connect with me individually, call me directly, 519-539-1111, extension 208, or you can let Janet know, hey, we really like those videos. How about we talk about something else next time? Easy for me to do, and it breaks up my day because I don't get to come in the kitchen as much as I used to, and I miss it a lot. Take good care. Bye-bye.